Hey, welcome back to my channel. I thought I would take a break from the Friday the 13th franchise and I would review one of my favorite movies from the 80s, or one of my favorite movies, period, and that movie is Midnight Run, starring Robert De Niro as Jack Walsh, Charles Grodin as the Duke, Yaphet Kotto as FBI agent Alonzo Mosley, Joe Pantoliano's in the movie as Eddie the Bail Bondsman, and you got John Ashton in there as Marvin, another bounty hunter. And Robert De Niro plays Jack Walsh, who's a bounty hunter, who used to be an ex-Chicago cop who kind of got framed. They go through it in the movie how he got framed because he wouldn't go on the payroll of the mob when he was there, and he left because he just wouldn't conform to what they wanted. He wasn't going to be dirty cop. So he went into bounty hunting business. And in the first 5 minutes of the movie, we show him on trying to get this guy. We're introduced to his character, and he's after this guy who's out on bail, and he has to bring him in for $1,200. And then we meet Marvin too during this brief introduction, and how they kind of go against each other because Marvin gets sent on the same missions Jack does, usually at a lower rate, and that's for comedy later on. How they kind of, Jack will tell Marvin how much he's getting, and Marvin's like, "Oh shit, he screwed me. He's giving me a lot less." And then Joey Pantoliano tells him about this guy, the Duke, who embezzled $15 million from the mob. We find out later that the Duke did it because at first when he was working for the mob, he didn't realize it. And when he found out, he took the $15 million, gave a bunch of it to charity, and he kept enough just to live off of and hide because he knew they were going to come after him. Well, he's wanted by the FBI, but also Eddie put up $400,000 for his bail, and he wants Jack to go find him and bring him back, and he'll pay him $100,000. That's basically the setup of the movie. Now, when this movie was released in '88, Martin Brest was coming off of Beverly Hills Cop in '84, which was a huge hit. This was his next movie, which he set up at Paramount. Now, the movie was always envisioned as two guys in the lead roles. But Paramount didn't think Charles Grodin was a big enough star. They wanted Cher, and they wanted Martin Brest to switch the gender from male to female. Martin Brest refused. Paramount didn't want to release the movie anymore because they didn't think it would work with Charles Grodin, even though Charles Grodin's a really good actor. And his banter with Robert De Niro makes the movie. Martin Brest was forced to take the movie to Universal. Universal was more than happy to do it, but that's why he ended up at Universal instead of Paramount. And getting back into the movie, so Jack tracks down the Duke, goes to his house where he's hiding, and takes him. He passes himself off as an FBI agent. And all this while, Alonzo Mosley, Yaphet Kotto's character, is on his tail. He's following Jack because he thinks Jack knows where the Duke is. And he knows Jack's been tasked with getting him back to L.A. by Friday by midnight. And once Jack has him, plus the mob's on his tail too because they want to kill this guy because first of all, he stole money and he knows things about their transactions that he can give the FBI and get Dennis Farina's character thrown in jail. So not only does he have the FBI on his tail, but he has the mob. And once he has the Duke, he tries to take a plane. Well, the Duke kind of tricks him in saying, "I can't fly, I'm scared to on the plane," and he freaks out and they get kicked off the plane. Well, then he tries to take a train. This is where Marvin catches up to him on the train. And he tries to take the Duke from Jack, but Jack foils him, and they get off the train before the next stop, when the FBI is waiting for him because they know he's going to be at this next stop along the way. Then they're forced to take a bus, which doesn't work out too well because when they get off in Chicago, the mob's waiting for them. They try to shoot the Duke. There's a bunch of snipers, and the FBI shows up, and there's a shootout, and Jack and the Duke get away. And then he's forced to go to his ex-wife's house and ask for money. She gives him the car after they argue a little bit because the husband she married after Jack and her split was one of the cops that set him up and was on the take back in the day, and he hates the guy. They never meet face to face, and he has a brief exchange with his daughter, who he hasn't seen in like 7 years, and they hit the road, and they're on their way to Amarillo, Texas. And the mob catches up with them there. He gets away, and it's just like a cross country road trip movie, like a buddy rock. And at first they hate each other, but you can see them starting to like each other as they go on and get to learn about each other. And it's really well done. Charles Grodin and Robert De Niro's interactions are great. Everybody's interaction with each other is awesome in this movie. There's all good actors across the board. And they're all bringing their A game. Robert De Niro looks like he's having fun. This was his first lighter movie in a while. I mean, he was just coming off The Untouchables when he did this movie. Charles Grodin wasn't well known yet. This is before he did Beethoven and some other movies. I know a lot of people remember from Beethoven because if you have kids or when you were a kid, that was typically a movie kids like to watch, and he's in the first two. But Charles Grodin's always been a good actor, and he's a good foil to Robert De Niro's. Robert De Niro's character is like so high strung and pissed off all the time, and he's kind of this calm, relaxed guy, but he always knows how to put digs in to make him even more pissed off. And they go from Texas to Arizona. They're all over the place, and they're on a train, like they're hoboing on a train to get to where they want to go, and there's car chases and helicopters and explosions and gunfights. And finally, at the end, they set up the mob boss in Vegas because they get the Duke, and Jack doesn't want him killed. He still wants to get his $100,000 at this point. And there's a whole interaction at the airport, and FBI ends up being able to take the mob boss, Dennis Farina's character, into custody. And Jack's able to get the Duke to L.A., but by this point, he really likes him and respects him, and he decides to let him go, and he screws Eddie out of the money. He even calls Eddie and goes, guess what? I have the Duke. I'm in L.A. at the airport, but I want you to say hi. And he says hi, and he goes, now you can say goodbye, you son of a bitch, and I'm going to let him go. And Eddie gets screwed at the end. But he's kind of been screwing Jack the whole time, too, by sending Marvin after him, too. And it's all great. It's well filmed. Martin Brest was a good director. I mean, he hasn't done anything since Geely with that terrible movie Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. That was kind of death knell to his career. Plus, they say that he was kind of a hard director to work for. He liked doing a lot of takes. Yaphet Kotto said the script was great, and he liked the actors he was working with, but he said they would do so many takes that it took the joy out of making the movie. And he said by the end of the movie, Martin Brest was so thin he looked like a zombie or like a skeleton walking. He goes, he just got sick towards the end of the movie, and he didn't look good. He goes, he was not the same man he was when we started filming. So I don't know. There's not really much, what are you going to do? The director had a vision, and he did a hell of a job. You wouldn't know that it was kind of not a very fun shoot for some of the actors. They all look like they're having fun, and the banter's great. I would give this movie an 8.5 out of 10. I really like it. I think it's a little too long. Not that it's overly long, but I think you could shave 10 minutes off this movie probably. But it's hard to argue with it. It's so fun watching these guys on screen and their banter together and the different states they go through. I mean, they don't make too many movies like this where it's kind of like a road trip on a mission in the USA. They don't do too many of those, and this movie's kind of underrated. You don't hear too many people talk about it. I mean, my father-in-law loves this movie. I love this movie. I have some friends that really like this movie, but it's not one of those movies that are mentioned as a really fun buddy movie. It's a shame too. It made some bucks. It was made for $30 million, and it made worldwide $81 million. It wasn't a huge hit. It wasn't Beverly Hills Cop type of hit. I mean, that movie was a monster hit, and nobody expected that to be a monster hit, and it was. You would think with the combination of Robert De Niro, I mean, Charles Grodin wasn't popular then, but just Robert De Niro alone and the concept, you think it would have been a bigger hit. I don't know. When this movie was released, I was only 9, so I don't remember its release. But yeah, it's definitely an underrated movie. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. If you've never seen it, it's definitely worth checking out. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere. It possibly could be. I own it on iTunes. I think there's a Blu-ray on Amazon you can buy. For a little while there, you couldn't get it, and now you can. It's around. You can get your hands on it. But it's definitely worth seeking out if you've never seen it. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you've never seen it. And that's it for me. I hope you all have a great day. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up down below. Hit the subscribe button. If you've seen the movie, leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of it. I know it's been out for a long time. We can have a discussion about it. And that's it. I'll be back with some more Friday the 13th reviews, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.